KICC, Nairobi.
Well, in just moments after she was named the Azimio la Umoja One Kenya Alliance presidential running mate, she's sitting down with Yvonne Okwara-Matole for an exclusive conversation. Let's cross over live there. Yvonne, over to you.
Thank you, Trevor, and thank you very much, Ms. Martha Karua, for sitting with us here tonight on Monday Report. I'd just like to ask you, what does this moment mean for you after being announced today as the running mate candidate for the Azimio la Umoja One Kenya party ticket?
Of course, I'm elated, but I also feel this responsibility because this is a moment for the women of Kenya. It's a moment also for the men of Kenya, because as women, we have brothers, we have children. For me, I have grandchildren who are boys. We have partners and we have, the males are related to us. This is a moment for us because the journey for inclusion for the women of Kenya started before independence. The stories my paternal grandmother used to tell me about her struggles reflect the struggle at the family level of the women for inclusive decision making. As a country, since independence, since Priscilla Abuao went to Lancaster House, and the many freedom fighters whom I cannot name one by one, women have been seeking inclusion, and the 2010 Constitution promises us inclusion. So today, my being named as running mate of the Azimio captain, Right Honorable Raila Odinga, is a momentous occasion for the women of Kenya and for Kenya as a country. And I feel this responsibility that we must deliver the vote and deliver the Azimio promise to the people of Kenya.
In your view, how different is this as a step towards involving, women in leadership compared to other measures that we already have in place, like you mentioned, the 2010 Constitution?
It's a great decision. We have seen, ever since independence, we've been having male presidents. We've been having the 2 times we have used the 2010 Constitution. We have had the Jubilee ticket, having 2 men. We have ran for presidency as women. We haven't made it, but my being named today with a candidate who, in my view, is a front runner on all sides, makes the realization of this dream of having women right at the presidency closer to reality. And this is what is happening all over the world, in our neighboring Tanzania, in Ethiopia, where the president is a woman, and I'm delighted that she took her time to call to congratulate. I'm also delighted, I've seen a tweet by the Tanzanian president congratulating us for this ticket. It is indeed a great occasion, as shown by the reactions of Kenyans throughout this nation.
Let's talk about the moment leading up to today's announcement. We know it was a competitive process, and there were others that wanted the position that you have achieved today. We've even seen some leaving. Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka saying this is the time to part ways. Could you tell us about what the behind-the-scenes intrigues have been? I mean, different from what we have seen out in the public.
What I know is that all the candidates have been cordial with one another. We have walked this journey together, except during the interviews, the Honorable Kalonzo Musyoka had indicated that he would not attend the interviews. Then, at the last moment, he did attend. All the other candidates, we've been together in the rallies. We never stopped. We go to the interviews and then we go off to attend the rallies. We've been cordial to each other, and we've been publicly saying up to today that whoever is named among us, we shall accept and continue with the campaign uninterrupted, because we joined Azimio knowing what we wanted, knowing that it carried the hope and dreams of Kenyans, including ourselves. So we made a pact that we would continue and we would work together. And my colleagues demonstrated that in their congratulatory messages today. They reinforced that message. And it's a message we've been reinforcing. And that's what competition should be about. We all know, even when we compete, not all of us can sit on the seat. Only one person will. So ultimately, that is the spirit of competition, and I salute my worthy competitors who have agreed to continue with this journey. We also respect the decision of Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka.
One of the considerations and the factors under consideration for selection of the running mate was obviously the chemistry between the running mate and the presidential candidate. How would you describe your relationship with Raila Odinga?
Cordial. We've worked together. I indicated we were in the trenches together fighting for the second liberation. We've been in government together twice. The first time the late President Kibaki formed government, and after Raila and team came back in the grand coalition government, and he came back as my boss, because he came back as the Prime Minister, coordinating and supervising government ministries and departments. And we worked together well. We've also worked together in opposition when NARC-K decided to be friends with CORD, and we worked together again for the people of Kenya. We share ideals. He has fought all his life for the rights of Kenyans and for social justice. He has been talking about realizing economic and social rights, which are about the basic needs, which include food, housing, and shelter. Those are ideals I believe in. So when he comes with those ideals, it's easy for me to choose to work with him, to stand with him, and advance the fight for these rights. So I would say we have an easy working relationship.
But you haven't always worked together. In fact, many of us remember there was a time when you're on opposite sides of the political divide.
More than once.
More than once.
Yes.
So what was it about this moment that said for you that this was now the right time to work together again?
In politics, you may differ on principle and then come to work together again. And the greatest example now is the handshake between him and the president. And working together doesn't mean that you'll always 100% agree. It means you can be able to sit down and narrow whatever differences that may arise. It also means that when you differ with respect. And it also means in the role that I've now been appointed today as a running mate, deputy president designate, it means appreciating that mine is a supportive role and realizing that he is the captain of the ship. I've played a supportive role before, not as a running mate, but as a minister of government. You are a delegate of the president. The president is the captain of the ship. So it's not the first time that I'll play a supportive role. And I pledged today that I will be loyal and I'll be steadfast in pursuit of their shared ideals.
Just about maybe this time or a little earlier last year, you were associated with the Linda Katiba movement,
yes,
which was opposed to the manner in which there was the BBI push for the change of the constitution. And today, in Raila Odinga's announcement, he said, and I quote, "As my co-worker, I wanted to finalize the unfinished business of making our constitution." And we know he has said before that BBI is on halftime. What would you see as your role in terms of pursuing reform of the constitution? Will BBI be reformed under
In my acceptance, I said I will take up that supportive role in accordance with the law. Because everything we do under our constitution and the guiding statutes. And now that you mentioned BBI, we objected to the process. The court has settled the issues. It means tomorrow, anything that is done will follow the process that the court has entrenched. So anything done will be done under the law. And yes, I will be supportive in that as well. We do not know what it will be, but I will be supportive to do things the way they should be done. It will be my duty to my principle, my duty to Kenyans and to my country.
Let's speak about the roles of the deputy president's position, for a moment. Do you think the Constitution could have been more explicit about the roles of the DP? Currently, it says he or she, the holder of the office, would be the principal assistant of the president. And we've literally seen, over the last 10 years, a cordial relationship in the first term and then a deterioration of the same relationship. What are your thoughts around the Constitution and the manner in which it speaks of the roles of the deputy president position?
I think there is a reason why all over the world the role of the deputy president is left fluid and mentioned to be supportive. You cannot create two centers of power in the presidency. So there is the principal and there is the principal assistant. The president has many assistants because ministers, cabinet ministers are assistants too. But the deputy president is the principal assistant. There's nothing wrong with our constitution, the way it defines that role. There's something wrong with behavior when we get to that office. Because if you recognize that you are playing a supportive role, then you will play it, and you will also, it's your duty, the holders of the office, to minimize conflict, and if it is there, to resolve it in-house, not publicly. And I have had occasion to talk about that. So I don't think there's a problem with the Constitution as I see it. Yeah.
If you win, what do you envision to do about corruption in this country?
Not if we win. When we win, I have this feeling that we are going to win, and the reaction of Kenyans to this ticket gives me that hope. And I am pleading with Kenyans that let's put our nation first and let us go for the dependable, for the tried and tested. The manifesto of Azimio, the 10-point plan, and the statements made by the captain of Azimio, Right Honorable Raila Odinga. He has been very resolute that he will fight against corruption. I will play the supportive role, and I will do my best to ensure that I support him to do exactly as he says in the manifesto and as guided by the Constitution of Kenya.
It's been a bit of a difficult nut to crack. I mean, if you think about it, the war against corruption. What would be specifically different about your approach, should you win, if you win?
I think the fight against corruption, one, requires political will, and it requires support by the citizens. Citizens of Kenya have shown that when the leadership shows in word and deed that they're serious about fighting corruption, they do rise up to support. The picture of 2002, citizens demanding of police officers to return bribes, citizens recovering the KICC from the Jogo Party. Those are acts that show Kenyans are eager to push back corruption in order to get services. I know and I believe that the captain of Azimio, the Right Honorable Raila Odinga, means it when he says he will fight corruption. We've been with him in government. He can't do it alone. He requires our support, and as his principal assistant, I will give him the support. And I know that the team he chooses will also give him support. That is what will be different. The challenges of each administration are different, and the entry point of each administration is different. I believe this time round, in order to realize economic and social justice and many other programs to Kenyans, there will be tremendous political will to fight corruption.
As we close, I want to circle back to what we started with at the start of this conversation, Ms. Karua.
Yeah.
You know, women have received your announcement today with a great deal of excitement. Women have been on the ballot before, you know, like you said, women have had leadership before. In what way do you think this excites that constituency, you know, towards going to the ballot? What would your final message be?
The real possibility of winning this ticket is the sure bet. And I do believe that the takeoff today will be unassailable as we move on. And for the women of Kenya, for men who believe in gender equality, people are seeing the promise of an inclusive ticket that includes both genders, and a ticket that is a sure bet to realizing their dreams and aspirations. A ticket of two people who have stood with them, whether in or out of government. And I keep on saying, when you see the captain of Azimio, when you see people like me fighting for the rights of Kenyans in and out of government, that means that the needs of Kenyans are written in our hearts. It's not about the positions. It's about putting the country first. And Right Honorable Raila Odinga has actually sacrificed his entire life fighting for the rights of Kenyans, putting Kenyans sometimes above family. And I think this demonstrates, you never can read people's hearts, but their actions can guide you to who they are. I believe in this ticket, and I know a majority of Kenyans believe in it. And we will convince those who are not yet convinced that this is the ticket, this is a sure bet.
Okay.
Yeah.
One of those that you might have to convince is the Mount Kenya region and the Mount Kenya vote that has emerged as being one that is very important or crucial, you know, for any side that, you know, is seeking victory.
Yeah.
What role do you think you would play in terms of galvanizing and mobilizing that constituency?
This is an ongoing job. When I joined Azimio, I hit the ground running. I've been around Mount Kenya, most of the counties, except Murang'a and Kiambu have been. And we are going to continue intensifying. Mount Kenya is not where it was. Azimio is gaining ground. And I'm saying watch this space. All the people need is a two-way conversation where you explain to them and give them a chance to raise their concerns. And that's what we've been doing. And when you see competition, getting people to disrupt meetings, like happened at Kutus when Baba came to Kirinyaga, it tells you they're afraid. They're very afraid of what is happening within the mountain. People had come in their thousands to see and hear Baba, but just a handful disrupted. They had a bit of him. But the fact that they come out in those numbers voluntarily tells you they're ready to listen. The mountain is beckoning, and here we come.
Indeed, that's where we leave it for now. We thank you very much for your time tonight, Ms. Martha Karua, just upon your nomination to be running mate for Raila Odinga on that presidential ticket. And of course, just about 84 days to the election. Thank you very much for your time with us here on Monday Report on Citizen Television.
Thank you very much, Yvonne.
Thank you. And that's where we leave it at. Would like to hand it back to you, Trevor Ombija, in studio.
Thank you very much, Yvonne Okwara Matole there, speaking exclusively to Honorable Martha Karua, who's a NARC-K Kenya party.